It's time for a little politicking. And, there's a lot happening on Capitol Hill right now. The U.S. Senate has pulled an all-nighter voting on a budget proposal that could cut major programs that many of us rely on. So what does this mean for our communities? Joining us to break it all down is someone who always keeps us informed, award-winning radio host, veteran journalist, and executive director of BlackAmericaWeb.com, Miss Sybil Wilkes. Good morning, Sybil.
Good morning, my friends. And you're absolutely right, Vic. There are just incredible mouths agape this morning. And the United States Senate has been on the floor all day yesterday, starting at about 9:30 local time, and they're still at it, what they call the Vote-a-Rama. The Democrats are trying to put new amendments into this big, beautiful bill that is anything but, according to most of America. Republicans are telling constituents that many services will be left in place, but there's so much paperwork to do or hoops to jump through in order to get the services needed. So what they're talking about is putting in place requirements that give evidence to other states that in other states has shown them that people could not access services, thus landing them in the ER. So here's the deal. If you have a medical process that needs to be done and the government says if you're on Medicaid or Medicare, we don't have it, you got to, find another way to do it. And you keep going to find answers until finally you find yourself in the emergency room. One of the other things is the food benefits, like SNAP products and SNAP benefits. The $64 billion to state governments, 44 of which have balanced budget, requires, now check this out. So you send money to a state government. This requires that the state will have veterans or hungry civilians or people or seniors whose food assistance programs will now be cut out. It's no longer the federal government's problem. We've given you all this money, and so you have to balance your budget. What are you going to do? Well, you have other issues like police protection, schools, and what have you, and that's when the food benefits will go by the wayside. The health care premiums will go up as Republicans will seek to extend the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, as we know. This is not what they want, but maybe what happens in the cards. We don't know what, and I have to keep prefacing this, we don't know what they want, but there are currently $1 trillion in Medicaid cuts. That means the further out you go, the more likely you are to have your benefits cut. Rural hospitals are likely to feel the effects of the cuts, as in having to shut down. And the debt is so huge in this bill that it triggers $500 million in Medicare cuts. You get to a certain point, and they say we are cutting off Medicare directly aimed at hospitals and at the needs of the American people. So another part of this bill is the Affordable Energy Act. Check this out once again. So if you're going to be paying more for health care in your insurance premiums, you're also going to be paying more for food for your children if they're in school lunch programs. And now $400 an average in electricity bills will go up next year. And that is as the climate change is really kicking in. I'm going to close with this because one of our most controversial people in this country, Elon Musk, whether you love him or you trust him, after what he and the Doge Boys did, he called the energy portion of this big, beautiful bill utterly insane and destructive. He called on his social media, formerly known as Twitter, that the Trump energy policy would destroy millions of jobs and cause immense strategic harm to America. He doesn't like it. So imagine what that means for the average American. And as I said, $400 you can look forward to increased insurance payments, and then, of course, the energy bill where you're paying on a likely average of over $400 a month next year.
Wow, man, a lot to take in, and big decisions are being made that could definitely affect us all. Man, thank you so much, Sybil, for helping us break it all down. And make sure you check out BlackAmericaWeb.com for all the news and trending stories around the globe. Appreciate you, Sybil.
Appreciate you, and huggies.